Happy Monday, another day in paradise. So when I was in 1999, I decided to lose 100 pounds. I said, this is it. I'm not playing the position that I grew up playing in football anymore. There was really no reason for me to hold on to the weight. So I started doing interval sprints at the field next to my folks' house in Rainier Valley. And 9 months later, 100 pounds down. Did it every day in the morning. So I've always felt very comfortable, but I always was a runner, even when I was a kid. I mean, I played football, so I always ran, always did drills, was always very fond of like cone drills and different things like that, maximizing the ability of my body to move as fast as possible and to switch directions as fast as possible. That was what I was all about. Played offensive and defensive line, so that's very important, especially to be able to pop people off the ball, very hard and shock them and knock them back. That was what I did. So, started intervals today again, and I just felt at home. I love the walking, don't get me wrong, because you can really focus on your audio books and you can, and it's not very hard, but, the HIIT cardio is the way to go, especially the strides. Always has been. Whenever I'm doing HIIT cardio, for 30 minutes, I lean out very quickly, and like I said, I just feel at home out there running strides. It's all, it's second nature. So I stress to you, utilize the HIIT cardio. It's, it's awesome. Got to do legs today, very soon. So, it is going to be difficult because on my leg days, I am going to be doing HIIT cardio in the morning, strides for 30 minutes. So it's going to be a difficult day. But, I think about freeboard, and when I was performing at my best prior to my groin problem that I had back in 2014, yeah, 2014, the second year that I was riding. Back when I had my groin problem, no, it might have been 2013. Back when I had my groin problem in 2013, when my riding was, the quality and skill of my riding was like on that uphill, curve. If you're looking at a graph, as far as skills and comfort on the board, I was doing HIIT cardio and stretching before I would go ride. And I performed a lot better on those days. So I'm pretty sure that is going to be a requirement of mine from here on out when I ride my freeboard. I will do HIIT cardio for 30 minutes. Those days will be difficult, but I just think that's the best way to go, especially if I'm going to be like doing any filming or I want to, demonstrate my skills at the best level possible. I need to be loose, I need to be warm, I need to be stretched out really good, I need to be able to ride, bend my knees and ride below 90 degrees and in that athletic position and be comfortable at the same time. And that's always been very difficult, especially during this time of year when it's 30 degrees outside every day and whatnot. It's just, it puts extra stress on the body. Summertime, I feel great. You don't need to do all that cardio. I'm still going to do a percentage of what I will do during the cold months when the summer does come around, just to get myself warm, maybe 10 minutes of a few strides, maybe say, oh, okay, I'm going to do 10 or 15 of them, and then I'll change into my attire that I ride my board in, my pads and everything like that, and my coveralls, and then go to ride. Okay, so that's just the process. As I said, I'm gonna share what I do. I study this a lot. I've lived it. I'm gonna be putting up the results. I have another photo. I photograph all the time, but I have another photo. It was getting redundant doing it every week, so I have another photo shoot for fat loss in about 2-3 weeks, and so I'm pretty sure I'll be 5 more pounds down from when the last time I was, and that's all I want is a pound a week. I'm not trying to force it. I'm not trying to go crazy because, as I've said before, the lifestyle that it takes for you to cut and get chiseled is the lifestyle that you have to maintain once you get there. And on top of that, as you lose weight, your caloric intake is going down. So it's actually going to be more difficult once you get to that weight because your maintenance is gauged upon what your weight is at that particular time and your activity levels. So even if my activity level stays exactly the same, if I'm 20 pounds lighter, 10 pounds lighter, 50 pounds lighter, 100 pounds lighter, my caloric intake per day and my carbohydrates is an endomorph, because that doesn't change. You can still, the way your body reacts to insulin is the same, regardless of, like, you know, whether your fat content is lower or higher, you're still going to react to insulin different than an ectomorph or a mesomorph. Those things need to be modified once you get to that weight, once you get to that lower weight. So the topic of the video today I want to talk quickly about, after my rant about personal experiences and decision making, is as an endomorph, you have to take the time to analyze why you're doing this stuff every day, because it's stressful. You know, I was just going over, like, oh, I got to do this diet for the days where I run. I got to do this diet for the days that I walk. I got to do this diet for the days that I don't do anything and I'm just resting. It changes. You know, you go from, like, on lifting days to having some carbohydrates and feeling great. Then you go into a day where maybe you just, like, walk or do, like, active rest. Your carbohydrates have to take a huge dive on those days. And on the days where you don't do anything and you're just recovering, you pretty much just have to eat protein all day and veggies. You have to keep the sugars very low, because on those days you'll store fat because you're not doing anything. And if you have your high insulin levels on those days, it could throw off all your work for the day, the prior days before that point. So you can't go and, like, cheat on your day off. It just ain't gonna work. You have to follow a tight endomorph regimen, which is watching those insulin levels. Okay, so right now, why? Every day, why are you doing this? Are you doing it for your kids? Are you doing it for yourself? Are you doing it for your partner? You know, what is the reason? Are you doing it because you just want to have a six-pack? That's fine. Whatever it is, you just need to remind yourself why you are doing this every single day, because most of the time, if you're endomorph, you have a lot of work ahead of you, and it's going to be very difficult for you to learn your body. And that's what's most important. That's the reason why I'm doing these videos, is because as an endomorph, there is not much information out there for us and motivation for us to get lean and chiseled and cut up and ripped up. There's not. Most of the information out there in the fitness industry is geared towards people that do not have the difficulties with insulin that we have. And they do not have the difficulties of storing fat so easily as we do. You can't just count calories as an endomorph. You have to count your carbohydrates like a hawk, and you have to watch your insulin levels like a diabetic. It's crazy. That's what it is. That's the life of an endomorph if you want to be cut. If you don't care and you just want to look any kind of way and you want to have any kind of health, you don't have to do this stuff. But as from my position of, 30 years most likely of doing this whole, like, how do I, maintain my weight? How do I keep lean? Your behavior, part of your behavioral process has to be writing down why you want to do this all the time, and remind yourself, sometimes several times a day. And when you're gonna have that cheat meal, or you're gonna have some foods that you shouldn't be having at particular times of the day, or too much carbohydrates, you need to go and write that stuff down constantly. Write it down 10 times, write it down 50 times, write down as many times you have to say, okay, I'm not gonna have this, I'm gonna go have something healthy, because it reminds you of, like, your present actions is what's going to deliver you to the results that you want. We can't always think about, down the road. We have to be in the moment. We have to be in the now. What are we doing right now? How are we going to be successful in reaching our goals, based on what we do right now? Not later, right now. Happy Monday.